Hi, my name is Amber Kuiper, for those of you who may not know me, and I wanted to make this video specifically for BODi leaders who received devastating news on Monday that the BODi company is moving from a network marketing model to an affiliate only model. This just shattered my heart, and I wasn't even a partner there at the time when they announced it. A little bit about my backstory is that I was a BODi partner for 9 years and I was a leader. I was a superstar diamond coach, six-time elite coach. BODi completely changed my life. And I just wanted to hop on tonight because as I'm seeing everything unfold around me, it's like I want to do something to help if I can, or encourage, or whatever it might be, just to reassure you and give you hope that better days are ahead. So, I'm going to share my story. I wanted to actually just open up in prayer because I believe that's the most powerful thing we have in situations like this when we don't know where to turn next. So, join me in prayer and then I'll share my story. God, I just pray for all of the BODi leaders out there. My heart truly breaks. This is it's such a special community, and to be part of it is something that will live in our hearts truly forever. To those that weren't involved, they might not understand the depth and beauty that took place there. But God, you know the memories. You knew how much it provided for our families, the joy that came. And God, I just pray for every single BODi leader, for every single BODi partner out there this week that is just processing this news. God, I just pray that you would give them your peace, Lord, in the midst of chaos and in the midst of uncertainty and them not knowing where to go next. I just pray for peace. I pray that you would remind them that you are in control and that you have their future planned out, and that this is just a stepping stone along the way that will be used for good in the future. But Lord, I just pray that you'd comfort them to give them time to grieve this season of their life ending. And God, I pray that as they process and as they figure out what their next step needs to be, that you would just give them an incredible amount of clarity, that they would be able to step forward knowing for sure that that's where you want them. And God, that you would open up doors for them that excite them again, Lord. Right now, so many are discouraged. And that is such a hard place to be, God. And I just pray that you would give them encouragement, Lord. Surprise them in the little ways. Give them confidence to be able to have hope in the future, but also give them time to process all of this. And God, I know there's so many options out there, so many things to consider. And I just pray truly that you would lead each and every person at BODi where they need to go, God. We're not all going to end up in the same spot. And I just pray that you would guide them and that we would all just have this abundance mindset that we are going to go out into the world and change it for the better, just like we already have. But God, I just thank you for this season of our lives. I don't think any of us have any regret about the season that you called us to at BODi. We are just so grateful. And that's why we're so sad, because we're so sad that it has to be over, God. For those of us who were there for a while and have already left, God, I just thank you for your continued provision and ask the same for everyone who is still at BODi. God, I pray that you just be with my words as I share my story. I'm nervous because I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to make it worse, but I just pray you would use me in some way and help me to be an encouragement to those that happen to stumble upon this video. In your name we pray, amen. Whew, okay, always feels better after you pray. All right, so I wanted to share my story. I I'm right now living in Naples, Florida, thanks to BODi, because I was able to build my business up when our kids were little. We have four kids. We were then able to move from Minnesota to Florida. So BODi completely changed our lives. I started when my kids were 4 years, four under four, and I was a stay-at-home mom at the time. Never really anticipated having a business, but it completely changed our lives, and it was such a Oh, gosh, I'm going to try not to lose it. It was such a place of joy for me in a time where I was in a really dark spot. And so I am so grateful for my time at BODi, and I am so grateful for the memories and all that we did there. And I know that if you haven't been part of it, you might wonder why can you like how can you be crying about something like this? But if you've been there in the highs and you've seen the work that we've done and the lives that were changed, then you understand. So I built this business up and I loved it. I loved recruiting to it. I loved bringing my team on board and helping them have wins and helping them grow and giving them the confidence and the mindset and all the things that they needed to succeed. And that was my greatest joy as a leader was when I could help other women win. And that was the best part, right? Like that was the best part of being a leader. There's two sides of this business. There is the customer side and there is the leadership side, and I did love both. But as a leader, the best thing is when you're not only helping someone feel their best mentally, physically, spiritually, but you're also helping them earn income for their family in a meaningful way. That was my favorite part. A few years ago, as many of us probably could say we felt, like I felt the shift and things were changing and the company was feeling different than it had in the past. But I sort of tried to like ignore it. And I've never believed the grass is greener elsewhere. I told my team that. I, for years, preached that. And I truly just believed that we had to sort of muster up the courage and keep working and keep moving forward and trudging through the mud. And if we worked hard enough, we would get to be back to this major, massive growth mode. Um, at the same time, there was something in my spirit, something in my heart that was telling me something doesn't feel quite right. And I ignored it for a long time. I tried to just like I came up with all the reasons why everything was still going to be okay. And I think it's because, gosh, there's just so much good there that happened. And it's like you don't want to have to even admit that it could possibly ever not be in your life. So anyway, as I was feeling these things shift, as a leader, what I found was that I was not going all in like I used to because my belief in the business side was not as confident as it used to be. I started to notice that when I would bring women into the business, they would work really hard, just as hard as I had worked when I joined, and they were not getting the same return on their investment. They were not making money for their family that was significant enough for them to be motivated to keep working just as hard. So then I saw a lot of burnout happening. I saw people coming in and I saw people leaving. And that messes with you also as a leader, right? Because you're like, what am I doing wrong? That all these people are like not loving it like I did. And also, like when I was at that rank, I was making so much more money than they are. And there was this tension that was created in my heart. And I think gradually over time, although I was still working my business, I never stopped, so to speak. I wasn't in that same growth mindset of like, I'm giving this all that I have. I'm so excited. I'm so confident. Like I was trying so hard to get myself there. And I would say what happened, it was like this cycle where I would feel really ramped up again and excited. And then I'm like, you know what? It's me. I'm not working hard enough. I'm not doing enough. If I could just go all in again, if I could just get my team to go all in again, like we can bring this to a different spot. And tried that cycle over and over and over. At the same time, I'm still bringing in a lot of money for my family, and I'm so grateful for that. So, the thing about this model is that you sort of feel stuck because you're sort of like, well, this is a lot of money. I can't walk away from it. But also, like, what else am I going to do? And at that point, it was becoming very popular for people to do more with affiliate marketing and or supplement their income in different ways. And although I tried to get to that point where I was excited about something like that or something else, I just never found something that felt like I wanted to go all in with it. And so this went on. And finally, this last spring, I reached a point where it was really affecting my mental health and in a way that like it hadn't before. Like it was starting to, but I was kind of trying to ignore it. It finally reached a point where my husband was even like, he's like, listen, you have to figure it out. Either you're going to stay or you're going to go. But this in the middle, not knowing, not being confident, not being who you are, I truly had become like a shell of a leader of who I was because I was so like wrestling with the fact that although I loved it, I could not help women win again. And so this spring, I'm in that spot. Well, then my sister-in-law, who was a full-time top leader at Beauty Counter, actually had the same news that BODi had this week. They were moving to an affiliate only model. And so, amidst feeling this weird shift and also seeing a lot of red flags at BODi, budget cuts, things constantly being on sale, the advertising being very weird and not aligned, and there just wasn't like it was like BODi was just not knowing who they were anymore. So, amongst all of these emotions, my sister-in-law then loses her income at Beauty Counter. And that hit so close to home for me. And I truly think that was like the catalyst that made me feel like I had to make a shift immediately. I'm very thankful for God giving me that discernment to do that when I did. So this was back in May that I reached back out to corporate mentors at Shaklee who had previously been with BODi. And I just reached out to them and I just said, hey, like I am, this is kind of where I'm at because I was really close to one particular person there. And when he left to go, or when he came to Shackley, he had kindly reached out to me and was just like, hey, I hope things are okay for you, but if you are ever looking to make a change, I would love for you to consider Shackley. I think that you would align with the company, with the products, with the people, with the leadership, and I believe you'd do really well here. Well, of course, that was a few years ago. And at that point, I was like, I'm never leaving BODi. I will never leave. Like, that's so kind, but like, thanks, but no thanks kind of thing. But that seed had been planted at that point. And so I did reach out to him and I just said, hey, listen, I do not know if I have it in me to do network marketing again. Honestly, I'm burned out. I'm just trying to figure out what my next steps are, if I'm going to stay in this profession or if I'm going to find something else. But I do have to find something else because my family needs me to provide for them. So we had a conversation and we hopped on a call and they were so gracious to me. I'm gonna try not to lose it. They were so gracious to me because I was at a low and they met me where I was and they weren't concerned like, oh, you have to join us. It was always, we want what's best for your family. And that was it. And they said, we will tell you what we have going on here. We do believe you would love it here. But if at the end of the day, it is not for you, we totally understand. We want what's best for your family. And so I listened and learned. And honestly, I had never heard of Shackley. Well, I had just because I knew Joe was there. Joe's the corporate mentor. But I didn't really know much of it, right? And I feel like people at BODi had sort of made it seem like it was sort of a black, bad, kind of weird place. And so even that, I was like, okay, well, I'm not ever going there. But then when I actually learned the truth about who they are, I was very encouraged. And so what I learned is that it was a company that they've been around for over 67 years. I think closer to 69 now. And anyway, they were kind of like, they were into healthy living and clean living and non-toxic living before it was cool. And so the company was created by a doctor, Dr. Shaklee, and he was a chiropractor who wanted more holistic and non-toxic solutions for his patients. And so he created the first multivitamin, he created the first plant-based protein, and since then it's just expanded into what it is today, having over 300 non-toxic products that are also clinically proven. So the more that I heard about the products, the more I was like my ears perked up because I had felt already this shift in my heart that although I loved wellness and fitness and all of that, like I wanted more. And so this was a way for me to expand into what I already loved in a different way. Now, what threw me, I will tell you, is that Shackley doesn't have workouts. And to be honest, that held me back for probably years of ever considering ever making a change. Because when you lead with workouts for so long, that is just what you're used to. And so it's really hard to kind of wrap your head around that. And that was like the one thing that almost held me back from switching because I just loved it. I loved leading with workouts. So that took me a little time to kind of figure out like, okay, how am I going to lead with nutrition. So Shaklee has it all. They have the vitamins, they have the supplements, very similar supplements to BODi, except I will tell you the ingredients are cleaner, less sugar, and overall, all of my customers are feeling much better on them. They have all of the supplements. Then they have also beauty products that are clean, that are EWG verified. They have personal care products like body wash and deodorant and lotion that are also non-toxic, EWG verified. They also have clean, non-toxic household items that you can clean your house with. They have non-toxic laundry concentrate. They have like a non-toxic OxyClean that I use on, it's like a booster that I use on all my kids' stuff and it takes every smell out. It's amazing. They have a cleaner that you can literally use to clean every room in your house. They have, dishwash detergent. They have hand wash, like they have it all. So they have all of these things, and it's truly a non-toxic lifestyle brand. And that got me really excited because I know that I and pretty much everyone I talk to right now is on a mission to make non-toxic swabs. And what was happening for me and a lot of my friends before we heard about Shaklee is we were wanting to do better. We were wanting to make swabs around our house, but it felt overwhelming. It's like you would find one maybe brand that you really loved, but then, okay, where am I going to go for this? And where am I going to go for that? And what is awesome with Shaklee is it's a trusted brand. Everything is the highest quality, and I would encourage you to vet it like against anything because it's really, really impressive. Um, I also love that I can talk about it with anyone, and I am so proud of the products. The quality is so high, the ingredients are so great that even my cleanest friends who wouldn't ever look at my BODi products are like excited and they want to explore more. What's also happening is that there's so many products to try that are not just luxury items, it's necessities. So, what's cool is what I'm finding is my customers are starting with one thing. Perhaps if they were with me at BODi, they're starting with what's familiar to them, like the supplements and the pre-workout and things like that. And then they get on the website and they are so excited about everything else that we have to offer. And so they're reordering. There's not convincing people to buy. They like want these things, and the products truly sell themselves once people know about Shaklee. So why don't people know about Shaklee? So here's why. Okay, so I told you it's an old company, right? And what happened was all these older people, they just never hopped on social media. So there's like this generation that kind of they miss because of that. And so that's why for a lot of us, our like, our age group, our generation, you ask people if they know about Shaklee and they're like, no, I've never heard of that. But if you ask your parents or your grandparents, they probably know about it. In fact, when I was exploring Shaklee and talking to my parents about it, they were like, oh my goodness, your grandma sold Shaklee back in the day. So kind of cool stuff like that too. And I will tell you this as well, that when you talk to someone about Shaklee, they never have anything bad to say about it. It's always met with like, oh yeah, I remember Shaklee, they have great stuff, or what a great company. That's a solid company. And it's just awesome. Like it's just a really cool place to be because you're really proud of it. So that's what I'm finding. And so, I talked to Joe about all of this stuff. So let's go back to that conversation. I talked to Joe about Shaklee. I talked to Kim Carver. I talked to Jeff Hill. I talked to their CEO, Roger Barnett, and I met with them. And I was so impressed, you guys. Like I went in so skeptical and so like, I'm probably not going to do this to wow, like I can't believe this is out there. And so what you will find is they are a very generous company, which was very different than what I was used to because you go from BODi, where at one time they were extremely generous, to then like slowly over time, everything's sort of getting taken away from you and cut out to this company over here who is so generous and they have no financial issues. Shaklee is privately owned. Roger Barnett is the owner. He is a billionaire. His livelihood does not depend on whether or not Shaklee like grows. He bought Shaklee 20 years ago because he wanted to give back and he wanted to make people's lives better. And he also was really intrigued by the network marketing model. One of the things he told me when I met with him was that I want to demystify this profession. I want people to understand that it's legitimate. And that's one of the reasons why he bought it. He actually vetted 75 different health and wellness companies when he was making his decision to buy Shaklee. And he decided to land on Shaklee. They weren't up for sale at first, but then he figured it out and he bought them. And so really since that time, what he's been doing is investing back into the company to bring everything up to today's standards. So new marketing, new packaging, the tech is amazing. Everything that I was praying that BODi would do, Shaklee has done. And I'm not exaggerating when I say that. Like, and I know this stuff like wouldn't mean anything to you if you're not like if you haven't a BODi, but like their customer service, phenomenal. You get someone who speaks to you so kindly, so sweet, and the customer is always right. They are always making things right. In the handful of times that I have had to call in, and remember, I'm like, I do not have like special status, you know, I was just like regular customer calling in because I wanted to make sure that I could like trust this. So every time I've called in, best experience ever. And my customers have had the same thing. So that's huge. Like I said, the technology is huge. The website is huge. It's like awesome. So anytime someone places an order, you immediately get an email. Anytime someone signs up as an ambassador, you immediately get an email. The comp plan is absolutely incredible. Thanks to Kim Carver, who used to be at BODi. He totally revamped the compensation plan. And it has an affiliate side, like a true affiliate side, where there are women who are earning six figures just selling the products because the comp plan is so generous, even the affiliate side. So what happens is when you sign up and anytime a new customer orders from you, you're going to get a 30% commission. And then on reorders, like the following month, you decide if you're going to be earning 10 to 40% commission. And the reason I say you decide is because it's based on customer retention. So as you build up your customer base, you can earn up to 40% commission on all of your customer orders, which is really massive. So my girls are winning. That to me was my biggest question when I met with Shaklee Corporate, as I said, listen, if I do this again, I need to know that my team is going to win and it's going to be worth their time because we got a lot of busy moms. We got a lot of people that like have tried this before and I can't lead them into something that isn't going to work out again. And so people are winning here, you guys. So this is the end of my fourth month. And I am so thankful. I'm so thankful that I made the move. What I'm experiencing, so here's case study, case in point. I had one woman who joined me the first month. So yeah, I came from BODi. I had one person that joined me. Like I did not recruit my team to come because I didn't want to disrupt what they had going on. I told them what I was up to. I told them why I was doing it. So I was very transparent, but I did not push for anyone to come with me because truly at that point, the people that are still at BODi, they're diehards. Like if you're at BODi when it was that bad, like you freaking love it so much that like there's really no convincing you to leave, right? So but I did tell, my team, but I really didn't recruit. I didn't want to disrupt what they were loving. And so I had one girl come with me and she was a struggling diamond coach at BODi. And maybe making a couple $100 a week, not a week, a month. Um, let's be extra generous and say she was making 200 to 300 a week or a month. Really struggling, okay? All right. At Shaklee, in her first month, she hit the first rank in the company, which is called director. It's equivalent to what would be a diamond sort of role at BODi. She sold over $3,000 worth of products and she made around between $1,300 and $1,400 in her first month. And so that was awesome. And like I said, she wasn't a superstar at BODi. She was struggling and she was able to come over. What I am finding is that people of all sorts are winning here. You don't have to have a certain look. You don't have to have a certain story or be part of something that's like so cool, right? Like what you don't have to be like a popular kid over here. You just have to love the products, you have to be passionate about them, and you have to share them. And that's the part about the compensation plan that I love too, is that it's not a binary system. It is a unilateral system. So that means that you're not balancing left leg and right leg. It means that it's all just based on volume sold. And so that's really awesome because you know what you can make at different ranks. Like at director on average, and this is like proven because it's all based on volume. It's not based on where you're placed and how much carryover you have, yada, yada. So it's all based on what you're selling and what your team is selling. But on average, they're earning $1,000 a month. And so that girl that joined me the first month, shout out to you, Kara. She has only grown in her income every single month since then, and she has maintained director volume and grown it. And she doesn't even have ambassadors working. That's the other piece too that I found is that people were so burnt out, myself included, to be honest, at first. Like I was burnt out trying to build a team because I felt like such a loser for so long because I couldn't recruit like I used to. And that was getting in my head. And so what's cool here though is even if you're burnt out, you can still earn significant income just on the affiliate side. And so that's been really neat because, what I have found is that, my team has grown since since that one person grow came. I have had several come after that. And what I'm finding is that people are just very like shaken up coming from BODi. Their confidence has been booted down. They don't know if they can lead anymore. They don't know if they have what it takes. They don't know if they have the energy. And so it does take a little time. And that's one of the things as a leader that I'm working on the most with my team is mindset because they were just really in a tough spot for the most part. I know that there's teams that were still crushing it at BODi, but I would say overall they weren't. And so mindset is a huge thing. But I'll tell you what's so cool is seeing people who were defeated, who didn't think they would ever do network marketing ever again, coming to Shaklee and going, it is so different here. I feel like I can win here. And what they're finding is like customers want these products. And so it's easy to sell. Their confidence is like growing every single day. They always have something different that they can talk about because we have so many different kinds of products. And overall, they're just like, I want to keep going. So they recover kind of like, oh, maybe try this again, I'll just sell. And most of them are now like, okay, I want to build a team because I believe in this. I want to go for it. And so that's really special too, to be at that place. And so there's the affiliate side, and then there is a team building side, and that is very generous as well. And I think you'd be very encouraged to learn more details about the income potential here. So that's a little bit about my story, you guys. And I just share that because I know that like when I was looking, I was like, I was like watching random videos. I was trying to find information, but I didn't really want to reach out to anyone and I didn't really know what to say and I didn't really know where I was at in the process. And so I just wanted to put this out there and share this with you that this company is legitimate and I am so thankful. I have zero regrets joining. It's been such a good fit for me, for my team, and it is a very redemptive season to be in. The culture here is top notch as well. You'll find this is a very like sophisticated culture. There's a lot of education that goes in from the scientists who create the Shaklee products. So you're always learning about different vitamins or why this or why that. They have so much education on in the back office, just that you can share with your customers, so you feel really equipped there. And just overall, I think it's an amazing next step for someone who was at BODi and who has a passion for the health and wellness because you really are able to expand what you were doing before. It's a little bit different, than than BODi. And I know that it's going to take some time to kind of think through how you can do things differently. But for me, it's just been such a blessing. And I wanted to share my story with you just in case just in case it helps or encourages you in any way. Please do what's best for your family. Vet everything, look at everything. And I know that God is going to continue to lead you just as he always has. And what I also know is that BODi coaches like, are extremely gritty. And oh, I'm almost done. Okay. We have to go to soccer. Okay, 5 minutes. Well, we're fine. We don't have to leave quite yet. Yep, almost done. Mom life. So anyway, it's just been awesome. And so I wanted to also share like that if you want to know anything more, just please ask me. I am an open book. I would be happy to share. At the end of the day, I really want what's best for your family, and I want you to step forward into that and be so excited. I would also love the chance, if you're a leader, to bridge an introduction to some of the leaders at BODi Corporate or at BODi Corporate, at Shaklee Corporate, because they have a program called the Soft Landing Program that they are able to help leaders transition over, so that perhaps you're not having to start at zero, but that you can have a little time and to take a little financial risk away from your family. like I said, this company is extremely generous. Even like trips and stuff, like we're like incentive trips, they pay for your airfare, like little things along the way. They are just awesome. So that's my story. I got to go to soccer. But just know that I am thinking of you. I'm praying for you, whether you make your home at Shaklee or somewhere else. Please just know that I am so grateful for the time that we all had together at BODi. And I know that it has just made us stronger as humans. So, all right. Thanks for your time. We'll talk to you later.